Normally I don't respond to this type of comment. But with the absurdity of how it started, combined with the topic, of the comment, I don't know if I can stay silent. Got my drink. Just because I don't know how long this is going to take. Excuse me. As of when I'm recording this, this is June 5th, 2020. Just thought I'd let you know beforehand, before I get too into this. I've got my window open. If you hear any noise, that's why. Here's the thing. Today's June 5th, right? I did a live stream today. As of when I'm recording this, that live stream is private. It's still on my channel, but the live stream in question is private. Just because of everything that's going on. If you want to see it, let me know. I'll either unlist it and have it be, you know, one of those ones where it's not public but people can still see it, or I'll just flat out make it public. Depending on how many views this video gets, depending on all the comments and everything. The live stream in question started out like any other live stream. The live stream in question started out like any other live stream, with the exception that I had a pizza in the oven, and I was gonna eat the pizza while I was on the live stream. Somehow, I don't know why, I don't know how, somebody called me racist because I was eating the pizza the way a racist would eat a pizza. Then everything started devolving and people were calling me racist just for the fuck of it. And here's the thing. For those of you who don't know, and this may seem like an unrelated topic to some of you at first, but hear me out. For those of you who don't know, I'm a pansexual. Which means I am attracted to a person regardless of gender, identity, regardless of sex, regardless of, whatever. It doesn't matter how a person looks. I can be attracted to a man, the same as a woman, the same as somebody who's trans, the same as somebody who's non-binary, or anything else. The reason I bring that up, back in the 60s, were the Stonewall riots. Stonewall riots were multiple days of riots between members of the LGBTQ community and the police. Where the LGBTQ community was on one side and the police were on the other. And they were wanting equality, they were wanting equality, fair representation. Basically, they were wanting to be treated like equal people. And with me being a pansexual, even though I've never experienced these sort of setbacks, inequalities, what have you, even though I've never experienced any of this, with me being a pansexual, I'm part of a group that is trying to think of a different word to use, but basically the pansexual people can be marginalized within the LGBTQ community by other members of the LGBTQ community. With me being pansexual, I think it would go against everything the Stonewall riots happened for if I were racist. I realize there are some people, regardless of whatever label you want to put on them, there are some people who cause problems. But here's the thing. One person does not represent an entire race. One person does not represent an entire culture. One person does not represent all people. And as I said before, with me being a part of a group, even though I haven't experienced it personally, with me being a part of a group that's marginalized, that's othered, if you want to say that. With me being part of this community that I'm a part of, it would go against everything that all the previous people who were part of this community have worked so hard for if I were racist. I respect a person regardless of who they are. I respect a person until they have proven that they are disrespecting towards me. And even then, I still try to be I still try to be respectful towards people, even after they're disrespectful towards me. Because respect and peace, respectfulness and peacefulness can go a long way. Racism, sexism, any sort of ism or othering action, or any sort of action or belief that groups certain people together in a negative way can be harmful. Not only towards the group, but towards individuals. People in the LGBTQ community have committed suicide because of other people's hatred, other people's isms, whatever you want to, whatever label people want to put on the LGBTQ community. People who are part of this community have been mislabeled, mistreated, and, for lack of better terms, treated like shit. Not all people have been treated like shit, but enough people have where they've self-harmed, where they've committed suicide, where they've retaliated in some way. And as I said before, I'll say this again. I don't see how I could identify with a group if that group, or basically, how do I word this? I'll just say it the same way I said before. long and short of it is, if I were racist towards another person, it would go against everything that happened with the Stonewall riots. That would go against everything that happened in the years prior to and the years since the Stonewall riots. The Stonewall riots were basically people wanted to be treated like equals. And that is more or less, that is why, granted there's more that's going into this, and there's more that went into the Stonewall riots, but more or less that is why people are rioting now after George Floyd's death. If I were racist, I know I keep saying this, but if I were racist, that would go against everything that people in my community have fought against since before I was born. People in the LGBTQ community have been misrepresented in media for so long, whether it's movies or TV shows. There's stereotypes that go along with people in the LGBT community. And if that sounds familiar, that's the exact thing. Granted, there's slight differences, but that's almost the exact thing that black people in America are going through. I mean, George Takei, the guy that played Sulu on Star Trek, he's Asian, right? Asian people have gone through they've gone through getting put into camps in the U.S. during one of the world wars, if not both. They were put into camps and segregated from the normal people. I'm starting to look up to George Takei more and more because now I'm seeing a lot more from him as of the last week or so of last month. So basically the last 2 weeks I've seen a lot more of him. And I'm starting to respect him and look up to him more and more now because of his actions. Martin Luther King is another person who has earned at least a little bit of respect in my book. Mainly because he did all this peacefully. He was able to prove a point by peacefully marching. Honestly, I don't know what to say right now that I haven't already said. So, if you have any other questions for me, please leave the questions in the comment section of this video, assuming the comment section is still open on this video. I will do my best to ignore all of the comments that accuse me without asking for my side of the story. I will do my best to try and disregard all of the troll comments. And if you have a legitimate question, or if you have a legitimate topic for me to talk about in an upcoming video, let me know down below. Also, be sure you check out my social media pages, the links to which are in the video description. Subscribe if you haven't, and all of that stuff. So, I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is.